So we are ready for our first pre-final of the day here at the Castelletto circuit. We are about a 1 hour drive from Milan. We're in northern Italy. We have beautiful sunshine. Chris Hartley and Matt Suckling here trackside for you. Coming up, the Junior X30 pre-final, which is going to be run over the course of 12 laps. So 12 laps, the results of this determine the grid, the starting positions for the final to come. Milan Petele is in pole position because he has taken 2 wins out of 3 so far. But today, Matt, is another day. Is Matt Suckling with the grid for our first race of the day.
Yep, so here we go then. The grid for this junior race is going to see Milan Petele, the man who took 2 victories yesterday. He was good enough to get himself on pole for the pre-final. Alongside him is going to be the Brit. That's going to be Callum Bradshaw in kart number 11. Back on row 2, we see Chris Lulham, who was the quickest on Friday through qualifying. But again, yesterday only managed to pick up a few good results. He got a second in one of the races. The other 2, he was outside the top 3 places. Ben Waldridge, watch out for him. He's going to be strong, coming from 4th on the grid. And then back from that, we've got the Spaniard, Oscar Paloma-Ortez, and the Spaniard alongside him, in fact, Killian Meyer in kart number 26. Then to row 4 is going to be Roy Chiu, who's a bit slow at the dummy grid there, but he's managed to catch back up, and he'll be starting inside of row 4. Ethan Hawkey is next up in kart number 29. Back on row 5, we see the likes of Thomas Meerlan and Sam McDonnell. He started every race yesterday from the back, so again, good progressive races for him. Then to row 6 is going to be Louis Westover and Ruben Moya Lopez. Row 7 is headed by Ethan Tan with Leon Schutz alongside. Row 8 then has Hugo Liu and Tanapongpan Sutumno. And towards the back is going to be Alexander Diarcy to round out the 17 starters for this pre-final for the juniors. We're ready to go racing for the first time today. And here's Chris Hartley with the start of the race.
There's your pole sitter then on screen. Number 16, the blue livery of Praga. That's Milan Petele to his right. The number 11 of Callum Bradshaw. Those 2 about to go through the final corner. Ready for this X30 Junior pre-final. Rolling start. Gets underway. The races go. Perfect start for Petele from pole position. A good start, though, from Bradshaw. He's trying to hang it around the outside here. Ben Waldridge has got alongside him. Chris Lulham has got past both of them into 3rd place. Then has gone the number 29 of Ethan Hawkey. He's been fast off the line every time so far this weekend. So he goes all the way up from the 4th row of the grid into 3rd place. Chris Lulham, number 17, is right on the rear bumper, though, the race leader, Milan Petele. He leads down the back straight for the first time. Petele first, Lulham second, Hawkey in 3rd position. And I think it was Waldridge just behind, yes, in 4th place. And the front row starter, Callum Bradshaw, winds up down in 5th position through the right-hand hairpin at turn 9, straight into another hairpin at turn 10. This is where all the overtaking has been going on, the second half of the lap. And there you can see number 29, Ethan Hawkey, through those hairpins, was able to sneak through past Chris Lulham and get himself up into 2nd place. So a fantastic start for Ethan Hawkey, who's come from 8th on the grid to be 2nd at the end of the first lap. Petele leads, Hawkey 2nd, Lulham 3rd, Waldridge 4th, and in 5th place Bradshaw, 6th place at the end of the first lap of the race, Paloma-Ortez in the number 27 kart.
Ideally, all of these need to work together to try and keep with Milan Petele, who leads the way, but at the minute it's not quite happening because they're all changing positions corner after corner by the looks of it. And now Ben Waldridge has got through into the top 3. Does he make a move down at turn number 7? Not as of yet, but Ben Waldridge has been really, really quick. He's now going to try and challenge down at turn number 9 on the inside of Ethan Hawkey, but again, he's not quite close enough. But let's see what they can do about Milan Petele down the inside this time. Ben Waldridge goes for it and he gets the job done up into 2nd place. So started on the grid down in 4th, he's then up to 3rd, now up into 2nd place. Ben Waldridge, the Brit, is really hard working here this weekend. He's coming through now, already closing that gap onto our leader down towards the first corner. 3 altogether now. It's Petele that leads. Waldridge, that is 2nd. 3rd place then for Hawkey. And then in 4th place is going to be number 11, just through there, Callum Bradshaw, ahead of Chris Lulham, who initially had a good start, but now he's starting to drop down the field as well. And then behind them we've got the Thomas Meerlan, and a change for the lead down the inside, Ben Waldridge, and Ethan's going to go with him as well. Change for the lead, both of them go through. Milan Petele drops from 1st to 3rd in the space of just 1 corner.
Yeah, he's not used to this, is he? Following other people. He's led most of the weekend so far, but he's trying to fight back. Looks up the inside, does Petele, of Ethan Hawkey, but Hawkey was able to fend him off. So the new race leader is Ben Waldridge, winner of the 3rd heat yesterday. He's there in the number 30 kart. In 2nd place, number 29, Ethan Hawkey, after this fantastic opening couple of laps for him. The former race leader, the pole sitter, Milan Petele, is the next one through in 3rd place. Then a bit of a gap back to Callum Bradshaw, who is, though, pulling away from everybody else. And if he can get a good lap or 2 in here, he's not that far away from the lead trio. He could get in the mix. But it's the British drivers 1st and 2nd at the moment. The Frenchman running with them in third place as they make their way through the left and the right at turns 4 and 5 onto the back straight now. Petelet coming right onto the tail of Hawkey, under braking into the right-hander at the end of the back straight through turn 6. Into turn 7, he lunges down the inside. A big lunge, but it pays off, and the Frenchman goes second. A very good move, that from Petelet from quite a long way back. He was the last of the late breakers. He jumps up in the seat now to lift his body weight off the rear axle just to try and pick up the acceleration by a fraction of a second. Right with him, sitting in an armchair, almost a very relaxed driving style for number 29, Ethan Hawkey. Ethan will be frustrated about that, not just because he's lost a place, but also because look how it has allowed the race leader, Ben Wooldridge, to just pull 2 or 3 kart lengths clear.
Yeah, I don't think Ethan Hawkey will sit there for too long. He'll try and work his way back through. As yellow flags wave at turn 1, there's 3 karts off down there, 1 stuck on the curb. One has got going, the other one pointing in the wrong direction. So not too good news down there for those 3. We'll try and pick up who they were at the end of the next lap, or very shortly in fact. There is the coverage down at turn 1, one of them being number 12.
Ruben Moya got caught up in that. He's got going again, so he's halfway down the back straight at the moment. And the other 2 are still stuck down. In fact, they've gone off the circuit. They've pulled away. I'm afraid one of them was Callum Bradshaw in the number 11 kart, who has dropped out, and possibly as well number 12, who's not come through, Sam McDonnell. Darcy also out of the race. So at the head of the field, they avoided all of that. Here they come, the top 3 in the same order. Still glued together, second and third. About 0.6 of a second behind Ben Wooldridge now, who's just got his head down as we go towards the second half of the race. We've done 5 out of the 12 laps. There's first, second and third. Coming out into the left-hander now at turn 4, through that right onto turn 5. Into 4th place then has come number 17, Chris Lulham. Into 5th place, number 31, is Thomas Meerland from the 5th row of the grid, and up to 6th place, Oscar Paloma-Ortiz. Meyer is 7th, Yu is up to 8th place, up to 9th place, Louis Westover from 2/3 of the way down the grid, and the German driver Leon Schutz is rounding out the top 10 at this stage of the race. So a really tight scrap this for second place. Ethan Hawkey is glued to the tail of the Frenchman here, Matt, but he just can't find a way through because Petelet hasn't given him any chances, hasn't made any mistakes yet.
No, he's doing some really good defensive driving at the minute. So Milan Petelet still holds on to that second place. Again, all over the tail through turn 2 is Ethan Hawkey, trying to get down the inside at every single corner, but it's not just working at the minute. To be fair to Ethan, though, he's got some better lines through those corners. He's sticking very, very tight, which is giving him good runs onto the straights as well. What can they do down towards the right-hander at turn number 6? Nothing as of yet. They stay nose to tail for that second and third place. But Ben Wooldridge, what a race this is turning into. He now leads by 1.1 seconds. He was the fastest man on the last lap as well, 51.161. So he is continuing to extend this gap over second and third. Further back in 4th place is still Chris Lulham in kart number 17. 5th place then for number 31, as there's more drama down at the right-hander at turn number 4, isn't there? Turn 5, in fact. Someone is off. We'll try and work out who that may be. I think it might be 15, Louis Westover, who's dropped down there. So, yeah, he's down and out of the race as well. So, very high attrition within this junior race. 4 out. They're going to have to start from the back of the grid for the final later on this afternoon. So, the yellow flags through turn 3 and 4. No overtaking for that fight in second place, but again we are starting to run out of laps. There's just under 5 to go. Ethan Hawkey needs to get on with the job. He's going to try again down at the end of the back straight. He looks briefly to the inside line, but not quite a gap to get through, but the hairpins may well lead themselves to some overtaking.
Got a mighty scrap going on for 4th place as well. Chris Lulham has got close company in the guys with number 31 Thomas Meerland, so 17 and 31 tied together. Back up to 6th place has come Killian Meyer, because he also in a pair, he's been nose to tail with Oscar Palomo, and those two have just switched around. Meyer up into the top 6, Palomo down to 7th place. So they split themselves off into pairs, 2nd and 3rd, 4th and 5th, 6th and 7th, all having little scraps. There is the 4th place scrap. This is still the closest of them though, isn't it? Hawkey starting to wind things up now, starting to try and look down the inside, try and find or create a gap. But here's a question, Matt. Would you rather finish second in this race, or would you rather actually finish third to be on the inside line for the final? You just wonder if he's thinking about this, Hawkey, because he looks like he's maybe a little bit quicker than Petelet at the moment, and maybe he's just holding back a bit. Yeah,
very good point, in fact. So, yeah, it could be right there for Ethan. Just to stay in third place, that will be potentially the better place to start for the final, which then, of course, will give you more of a chance of winning that final. So let's see if Ethan will go for anything, or if he'll just hold his place, stay there third for the next 3 or 4 laps, for now, as you said, I think Ethan is looking much quicker, but he's not trying to go through, is he? He's just trying to take those better lines. But let's see what they do this time across the line. Down towards turn 1 they go. Milan Petelay still sits in second. Ethan, there's probably no gap whatsoever between second and third, so they go through less than a tenth of a second apart. So that is a very close battle. Up the road, still Ben Waldridge with a gap of 1.5 seconds, and then the fight for fourth place is still hammering on because you've got those 4 carts all together. Chris Lullum still leads them. Thomas Milan in 5th place. Killian Meyer is 6th. And the next of the Spaniards, they're in 7th place, which is cart number 27 at the minute. He's worked his way, and in fact he started 5th. He's kind of dropped down a few positions there. Oscar Paloma Ortez, and there, as you can see, the fight is on for 4th place. There goes a move from Killian Meyer down the inside line. He takes the place away from Thomas Milan and moves up now into 5th place, which again is a good starting position for the final later on.
Yeah, so if you apply the theory about having a bit of tactics here to make sure you get an odd numbered finish, so you start on the inside line for the final. So if you can do that, it's maybe worth considering. But the problem for Chris Lullum, who is 4th at the moment and will start on the outside line, you can't let one driver through, can he, to finish in 5th deliberately, because there are 3 drivers behind him. And if he loses a place, he's going to lose 2 or 3, and he's going to risk putting himself in a position where there might be some contact as drivers come through. So he, I think, has just got to keep on driving here and doing his best to stay at the head of that group. It's a safer option, I think, than trying to play the tactical game here. So Ben Waldridge leads the way. Petelay has come through again in 2nd place, and again only a 10th clear of Hawke, who's just sitting there watching and waiting with a lap and a half to go in this race. Watching the battle for 4th place, number 17, Chris Lullum on the screen, number 26, Killian Meyer closing up to him. Killian looks pretty determined to get through as he realises he's 5th rather than 4th. Let's see what he does here. Here's the battle for 2nd place. Now even Hawke is definitely holding back there, isn't he? Because he got halfway alongside there and just glanced over the shoulder, made sure he's got room to slow up. There was nobody right behind him, which there's not. He's 3 seconds clear almost of Chris Lullum, and he goes on to the final lap. And I'm convinced he's going to sit tight there and hold on to his position. Ben Waldridge, though, is marching on back towards pole position. He's going to win this one by something like 2.5 seconds.
Which again, in karting terms, is a huge amount of margin there. So Ben Waldridge on his way through the last couple of corners. Just thinking if Milan Petelay may slow through the final corner and try and outsmart Ethan Hawke to let him go up into 2nd place. I'm sure they'll hammer it towards the line. But here comes Ben Waldridge, a perfect race for him through the final corner, up towards the checkered flag in this pre-final. He's the win of the day, and what's going to be his 2nd win of the weekend. He'll be starting from pole position for the final later on this afternoon. 2nd through across the line does go to Milan Petelay, the man who grabbed 2 victories yesterday, and 3rd place goes to a sterling drive there from Ethan Hawke, who comes through and he picks up what's going to be 3rd place. Again, bear in mind he started on the outside of row number 4. Really good race there for Ethan, so he'll be delighted. And of course, this time round for the final, he'll be starting from the inside line. So great job there for Ethan. The Spaniard, Killian Meyer, got 1 more place towards the end there. So Killian Meyer goes through to 4th. Chris Lullum realised that he needed to be on the inside line for the final, so he drops down into 5th position. Thomas Milan, the Frenchman, comes through in 6th. Oscar Paloma Ortez then in 7th. Leon Schutz in 8th. Roy Hsu in 9th, and Ethan Tan rounds out your top 10 with a Fusion Motorsport 9th and 10th place. Tanner Pongpan Satunu in 11th, and Hugo Liu down in 12th place. And then those that failed to finish the race and have got work to do for the final later on: Louis Westover, one of those, in cart number 15, Callum Bradshaw in cart number 11, Sam McDonald in cart number 12, and Alexander Diarcy was also a non-finisher down in 17th place. But the winner there for the first of the pre-finals for the juniors goes the way of Ben